All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the Pac 12 is still a Power Five conference, but with another opportunity to showcase themselves in some marquee games. The conference came up short yesterday. Number 11, Oregon, was taken behind the woodshed by number 3, Georgia in Atlanta, while number 7, Utah, lost a heartbreaker in the swamp to unranked Florida. Now, Oregon is a program in transition now from Mario Cristobal to Dan Lanning. But even with that said, I was still surprised at how easily that they were handled by Georgia. Don't get me wrong. Georgia is the defending national champions. Georgia also has plenty of talent on this club, and playing in Atlanta is their home away from home. But nonetheless, there's really no nice way to package a 49-3 loss, and that's what we saw yesterday from Oregon. And in the case of Utah, the swamp in Gainesville is never an easy place for opposing teams to play, especially on a Saturday night. But if there was ever going to be a chance for the Utes to get one, this would have been the time because you figure Florida is beginning a new era with Billy Napier as their head coach, and there's always that transition period. But nonetheless, the Gators were able to win. And to Utah's credit, Utah played very good last night. It was a hostile environment that they had to go in, but they just fell short. And of course, Cam Rising making, to me, his only mistake of the game was that interception to seal it late in the fourth quarter. Then on top of that, on Friday, I mean, obviously Colorado, in my opinion, is not a contender for the Pac-12 championship this year, but nonetheless, they were they lost real bad by 25 points at home to TCU, and this is a TCU team out of the Big 12 that themselves is beginning a new era with Sonny Dykes as their head coach. So, these are things, when, you have teams going out of conference to play games, it's all about exposure for the conference to see how you match up against other leagues. And unfortunately for the Pac 12, those marquee games for Oregon and Utah really are not going to do that much to change the current reputation nationally, unfortunately, in football for the Pac 12. These are the games that you have to win if you're going to get respect. Now, for the Pac 12, they have not made the college football playoff since 2016. And since the college football playoff was implemented, they've only had two representatives there: Oregon in the initial college football playoff and Washington. And Oregon was the only victory in the college football playoff that the Pac 12 ever had, as they knocked off Florida State that year in the semis. But, obviously there's going to be hope that USC is back. But at the end of the day, USC is about to leave for the Big Ten. So how much can you really, how much stock can you put in on that if you're the Pac-12? And like I keep saying, and obviously I'm not the only one who's saying this as well, it's the Big Ten and the SEC against everybody else. But if you're the Big 12, if you're the ACC, if you're the SEC, these are the games you have to win, or at least, and have a good showing out there if you're going to get legitimacy for your conference. And I mean, to me, what we saw, in my opinion, okay, what we saw from Oregon yesterday against Georgia really is not going to help the argument about playoff expansion, because Oregon came into this year ranked number 11. And of course, Georgia's number 3. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect Oregon by season's end to be in the mix to be one of those 4 teams for the playoff. But nonetheless, we just saw the 11th seed, taken behind the woodshed by the 3 seed. And again, I can't harp on this enough. Every year in the college football playoff, those semis are blowout games. We really, so it's like, why are you're adding to that, and it's only really delaying the inevitable, because it's still going to be the usual suspects that win. But nonetheless, here for the Pac 12, this was not a good look for them. So hopefully, they can find a way to rebound. Don't get me wrong, Utah still has a very good team, and I feel like the Utes are going to be in the mix to win the Pac 12. I don't feel the same way for Oregon. Like I said, this is a year of transition for them, and who knows how long that transition period is going to take. But nonetheless, it was a bad look, nationally televised game. In that 3 o'clock window for Oregon. Utah had a primetime game and they fell short. So when your marquee teams are struggling like that, it's not a good look for the conference. But let's see how the Pac-12 rebounds, gets themselves together for the year. But still, the gap between the mega powers, as far as the SEC goes, maybe the Big Ten, and then everybody else is still looming large. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'd be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.